Welcome to another jam-packed MMA episode of the Kick Him with the Head podcast. And tonight we are talking EFC 127. And here to help me break it all down is my man from the House of Tinkerbell, Brendan. Brendan, how are you doing tonight?
What's up, guys? Man, I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Blessed. Been a crazy week, working up late to this fight, but exciting, man. Exciting times.
Exciting times. It's always good to have a House of Tinkerbell fighter on the card because you guys always come with that energy. Tonight, we don't have the Kraken here with us. No one here to talk shit and put you guys down for no reason. Yes, Kraken, we know you're probably watching. We do miss you here, but we'll do all the talking tonight.
I hope he's in the comments today. I hope he's in the comments.
He better be in the comments. But I think let's get into it. So, EFC 127, long time coming. The main fight here we have is between Triple H, Power, Jikasa, and Elvis, the Bomber, Moyo. This is the first bad blood fight in the EFC for a while. These two have had beef for a very long time. It's at least 4 years that these two have wanted to get their hands on each other, and they finally get to do it.
Yeah,
So I think,
a lot of fights.
oh, what a fight! What an absolute banger of a fight. Let's start with the Bomber. Let's start with the current EFC heavyweight champion, Elvis Moyo. We saw him beating Big Morel in his title win, having come back after 6 years of not being in the Hex to
Very
actually
impressive.
beat someone very impressive. To beat someone that I thought was going to win. I was all Anthony Morel. I was all Big Morel. Like and then when Elvis beat him, I was like, oh, sheesh, I think you just stole a fan. Because now I'm like, hey, you know what? Actually, the Bomber, let's go. How are you feeling about him now defending his title against someone that he has bad blood with, he has history with in this instance? How do you feel about Elvis Moya in this fight?
Look, man. Look, take nothing away from Elvis. He showed so much heart in that fight against Morale. Like he came back from the trenches to make it happen. I believe the night Anthony beat himself, but good work on Moya. Good work on Moya. Put in the time, he put in the work, and he came out on top in the end. Those fights is crazy, man. I remember when Triple H fought Van Dam,
Van
and they
Dam.
had Cage, and that was crazy. Van Dam hitting him from behind, Moya climbing the fence. That was a crazy event. Crazy event. And I'll tell you something. I was sitting at the press conference yesterday, and surprisingly, these two are super chilled right now. Super chilled. But I know once they step in that cage, it is going to be a war. I think they're going to try and take each other's heads off.
No, you're 100% right. They were very cordial at the presser. Moyo even said, yeah, you know what? That's a very good point that Triple H made there. It is about us African fighters. They were very, very cordial, but they want to just tear each other
Dude, I'm not going to
absolutely
lie to
apart.
you. Hey, the fans of each side, that's, oof, that's what they're going to have to watch on the nights. I think the fans are also going to be a bit crazy between the two. The two camps were going at each other in the background in the press conference. It was insane, man.
I think that's really where a lot of the issues in the past around security had come from the EFC, was having fighters like this with such a fan base, very passionate fan base coming through. And when the fight doesn't go their fighter's way,
Oof.
oh, in the audience, you can feel it. You can really feel it.
Oh,
Um,
100%.
not sure which side not sure which side you're going to be sitting on, but hopefully you'll be safe out there. But let's chat quickly about Moyo. He is 41, record of 9-6, coming into this fight on a one-win streak, as we said, winning the title versus Triple H Power, Triple H Ikasa. He's on a two-fight losing streak. He is 2 years younger than Elvis Moyo, but 4 inches taller. So he has a significant height advantage, even though the reach is almost the same. How are you feeling about Triple H coming in, having lost two fights recently, fighting out in, I believe it was Russia, coming
Yes,
back to the EFC? He never lost his title. He was
yes.
essentially stripped of his title. Then he went out and won a bare knuckle title, and now he's back. How are you feeling about him in this fight?
Look, if we take straight up paper, if we take it straight up, what's on paper, Triple H should win this fight. 100%. If you're looking on paper, this man's more well-rounded as an athlete. He's very light on his feet. He strikes like a featherweight. Man, he's so quick. He's so versatile. He's not this throwing big bombs, if that makes sense. Even though everything he throws is a bomb. Like Alves, if he
No pun
stands still
intended.
and he throws heat, that's a bit different. Where Triple H is, if I can compare him, guys, I'm not trying to in this moment, I'm not trying to piss out Tigabal here, but he literally moves like Nate. He moves, he's so light on his feet, he's like ridiculously good in that sense. And he's gone out and improved his wrestling. He went to Russia, yes, he had like some rough fights out there, but in
Mhm.
his camp, he's improved his wrestling, he's improved his jiu-jitsu. I really do believe he's a more well-rounded athlete. In saying that, emotions are running high in this fight, and if you fight angry, you fight clouded. So let's see who gets under whose skin the most, and let's see who can actually perform on the night. But if you're looking on paper, Triple H should take the. He should.
So, interestingly enough, where it comes to how he moves, I call him the Tom Aspinall of not just the EFC, but I'll say of African MMA. Triple H just has, for a heavyweight, he's just got this very fluid motion. He mixes it up very well. And like you said, working on his ground game is an aspect that I wouldn't say he was lacking, but wasn't necessarily his strongest point. But now that he's
Yeah.
worked on it, I can't. Elvis Moyo in the press conference said, listen, the one thing I've got, I've got, is if I hit you, you're going to feel it. So no matter what you think you're going to do, when I hit you, that's when that you're in a fight. I don't know if that's going to play out that way. I agree with you. On paper, Triple H should win it. I think in terms of the well-roundedness, Triple H should get it. But it's a fight. And if the bomber says, when I hit you, you're going to feel it, that definitely means something. So I'm really
Brothers,
looking forward to this fight.
heavyweights, it takes one. It takes
Takes
one.
just one.
But also,
And
all I'm Elvis is going to throw bombs. Triple H might just kick him in the head.
woo-hoo-hoo! All he needs is that right hand to just overextend, and he's trying to come back, and there is the left high kick open clean. And we know Triple H throws those high kicks at will. So I agree with you. This might actually
Oh,
end in a head kick.
I
Yeah.
sparred him when he came to spar at our gym. Not now, obviously. It was about a year or so back, if I remember correctly. Dude, the whole time, all I'm thinking to myself is, please don't kick me in the head. Please don't kick me in the head. You are moving like a fly. Don't kick me in the head.
And that's the thing with Triple H. I absolutely love the fact that he moves like a flyweight. He moves like Tom Aspinall, because I think once his game is fully rounded, he is a bit older now, but I think there's a lot of damage he can still do in the African MMA scene. Move on to the rest of the card. Let's look at the rest of the card and how this card is shaping up, starting with the prelim. In the prelims, we have a lot of very interesting fights. We have Tabatso Matlabwane versus Mika Ngomane. Ngomane in his debut here in the EFC. Matlabwane on a 2-fight skid. Let's see if he can pull it back. Then we've got Brian Guavava versus Rian Dunn. Rian has been undone quite a few times recently in the EFC. Not sure how this is going to go. Guavava with the 1-0. Kuni Lamprecht in his second fight in the EFC. He's an absolute prodigy. His grappling, his BJJ, he's such a well-rounded fighter. Looking forward to his career. Young man there coming up against Mfanafuti Ngubese, who's sitting at a 1-1 record in the EFC. That in the flyweight division. Then we've got Emerson, the coolest kid, Pedro, fighting against Mlungisi Mbizane Jr., who throws some bombs. So that's going to be a fun fight. And then to round off the prelims, we have Emmanuel Sita coming up against Gyolo Sondi. 3-4 versus 3-5. Interesting matchup. Sita on a win streak, coming to the lightweight division, finding his home there. Sondi back after, I think, about 3 years to see if he can progress in the EFC lightweight division. Which fights here are you looking forward to? Which fights here excite you in the prelims of EFC 127?
Look, dude, that Guelo Sondi and Sita fight is insane. Sondi comes out, he throws wild, he wants to be crazy. I think Sita really has to give it, like put it to him. If Sita can put it to him and make him respect the power, then they're going to be a back and forth war. I think it's going to be really good. With regards to the rest of the card, can you pull it up for me? Sorry, I can't see. Yeah. So Emerson Pedro, also a wild fighter. You say this other guy throws bombs, he's going to have a similar fight to Sita, make him respect the power so that the craziness comes down a bit. Kuni, man, I haven't personally watched the Kuni fights. I just know that he's got reasonably good jiu-jitsu. I think it's good for the division. It's good for where he's at in his career. Obviously, he will improve as time goes on. So if he can get this fight to the ground, there's not many people in the EFC with extrememy good jiu-jitsu right now. I think he's a purple belt, so that's really high level jiu-jitsu. Brian Guavava. He's also an explosive fighter. Riandan coming off a heel hook loss, I think, to Ruvan de Pia, if I remember correctly. So that could be if he can keep it standing, I think that's going to be a back and forth war between the two of them. And then, I don't know much about that first fight on the card.
Yeah, so very interesting fights there. I think for me, like you said, with the Sita fight, I think Sita actually needs to take it slow because, like you said, Sondi comes out, he throws crazy. He doesn't look like he's done anything particularly different in this camp of his. He says he's been training, but he's going to come out crazy and try and end the fight quickly. If Sita can just weather the storm for maybe the first minute, 2 minutes, I think he can definitely win it.
He has to hit him.
And then just hit him because we know Emmanuel Sita. Ooh,
he has to hit him.
But he mustn't get cracked.
If he makes him respect either the leg kicks or the big bombs to calm the craziness down, I think it's going to be a good night for Sita. But he has to hit him. He has to make him respect the fight.
Okay, so you see it differently. You see it as Emmanuel Sita needs to come out, get the respect, whereas I'm thinking he needs to more so sit back and weather the storm.
I wouldn't say come out hot or come out crazy. Just hit him. Like, don't stand and allow him to play his game. You got to hit him. Hit him. Make it.
So essentially, do what Elvis Moyo's saying he's gonna do to Triple H is just hit him.
Yeah. But I don't see the difference between that fight is I don't think Triple H is going to be crazy. He's going to play it very smart and play that point fight. He's striking and he's got you hurt and then he's going to put you away.
Nah, quite true. And Moyo was very adamant that there shouldn't be any running. Like, Triple H shouldn't run. I don't know. Running is part of the game. Let's be honest. You know, who wants to get hit? Who wants to get hit?
Hit, man.
Then another fight there that I think, like you said, Kuni Lamprecht. You haven't seen him. I've seen both his fights, his Contender Series fight and his first fight against Kelvin Smith. And my gosh, I think he put Kelvin in this nasty anaconda. He's just got one of those bodies where his legs can go anywhere at any time when you're on the ground. He can do what he needs to do to win the fight once he gets to the ground, and he can get to the ground very easily. So essentially, if this fight stays standing, I see him still submitting maybe end of the first, maybe beginning of the second. If it goes to the ground in the first minute, that fight is over. He is really, really good. I have watched both his fights. And
I've seen him compete at Submission King stuff, man. I've seen him tap high-level guys, good rolling, some slick jiu-jitsu. So it's whether that can translate into the cage, obviously, but he's obviously done it once or twice so far already. It's if this guy, I haven't seen his striking. So whether he can use his striking to set up those takedowns, I don't know. Like I said, I've never watched a fight of his, but it'll be interesting to see come Thursday night.
Agreed. Then the last fight I want to point out there is, very interestingly, the first fight on the prelims between Mahlabuane and Nkomane, who both fight out of Brothers in Arms in Pretoria. Now, that's interesting because now I'm asking you, House of Tinkerbell, would your guys go head-to-head in the EFC, which is what they're doing there? in the
No,
first fight in the prelims?
no.
Why
Like,
not?
why would we want to fight our brothers, man? Then you have to. It's like American top team fighting each other. You have to now split the camp, allow those persons who each other to like, dude. It just doesn't make sense. We're a family. The Chum is a family. It is what it is. They maybe one of them has moved camps. So I don't know. Maybe one of those two fighters don't train there anymore because topology also can be a bit shaky with information sometimes.
That's true. That's very true. That's very true. But let's see how that fight goes. Interesting fight. And then the Emerson Pedro fight. Like you said, Emerson is an absolutely wild guy. He's been trying to get a head kick win because he can hear me screaming in the crowd every single time, "Chuta na cabeça!" Which in Portuguese is kick him in the head. A Mozambican fighter there. So I'm hoping he finally gets his head kick win. Sorry, in front of Futi. I just, my man tries it and he's going to get it sooner or later. But those are some very interesting fights. I think these are the fights, if you look at the records of the fighters there, these are the fights that build the promotion. Those fighters that are coming in 2-0, 1-0, 0-1, to see who is there to then be challenging for the titles maybe next year, because I think EFC is in a bit of a rebuild right now. If you look at the level of the fighters that they have in there. And obviously, a lot of the fighters don't necessarily fight as often or might not make weight, so they need to have enough of a roster. And I think this is one of those cards that gives us a view of the roster to come in the next 6
Like
to
a
12
state,
months. With that said, let's get on to.
it's like a state
Say
of
that
the
again?
nation kind of thing.
Yes, sir. State of the EFC. Let's see it. Coming to the main card, speaking of the state of the EFC, we have another bunch of interesting fights, and I like the fights here. I think once again, it shows exactly what the state of the EFC is. Although, with all due respect, the co-main isn't a fight I would have expected as a co-main. Yes, I know House of Tinkerbell is fantastic, but 3-2 versus 5-4 in Nathaniel Kumana versus God knows Ndlovu. What isn't necessarily a fight you would have expected as a co-main for the heavyweight title. Also, if we look at the card, it's full of a lot of flyweights and featherweights. Sorry, bantamweights. The higher weight classes aren't represented here. Usually, you would have a case where you'd have it that your heavyweight title would have at least a light heavyweight or middleweight bout in there somewhere, but none of that on this card. Looking at the card, first fight, we have Litle Rush Hour Ngamatwini versus Tebatso Molele. I'm looking forward to that fight. Absolutely love Rush Hour. Very exciting fighter. Love all his fights. Then we've got the one that I'm the most conflicted on, Rua van de Beer versus Godfrey Feral Spunky Mkonazi. Oh, that fight, I'm conflicted. And we'll see later exactly what the odds say about that one. I think the odds are conflicted. And then in the co-main, we have Nathaniel Kumana versus God knows the General Ndlovu. So the General versus Kakarot in that fight. And then, of course, the heavyweight title fight between Elvis the Bomber Moyo and Mutanga Jikasa. Triple H power. Now, I don't need to ask you, but I will. Which fight are you looking forward to the most on the main card?
Look, the fight I'm looking forward to the most, and I'll be dead honest with you, is that heavyweight title fight. That's the one I'm looking forward to the most because I know that is going to be fireworks. However, how can I not say I'm looking forward to seeing my boy put on a Nathaniel Kumana is going to come in, he's going to finish this fight and on to better things, man. Like, I think EFC probably had plans for this card to have those higher fights like you're talking about, those middleweights, those welterweights, maybe even a light heavyweight. They probably had plans for that and that didn't materialize. With saying that, it's about damn time. It's about damn time Nate gets to show out in the position that he's put in today. That co-main event spot is a beautiful opportunity for him to show the world who Nathaniel Kumana is against an opponent that allows him to show who Nathaniel Kumana is. And after this fight, I really do believe, if not title, give us either Terrence or Zondi for a number one contender shot. Because who else is there in the division? Let's be honest. Like, man, Rush is doing amazing things at flyweights as well. Don't get me wrong, but he's also not in a rush for that belt. Nate is like kind of almost entering his prime. His prime will be when you're fighting is about 30, 32, somewhere around there is when you hit your prime. And when you hit that point, you want to be onto international promotions. You want to be in the UFC. You want to be doing cool things. And I think this is the perfect opportunity for him to come in, put on a good performance, get a performance bonus, move on to a bigger fight, number one contendership, if not a title. Everyone doesn't want to fight this man because he is the most dangerous man in the division, in my opinion, and in many people's opinion, that no one wants to fight him unless they're fighting for a belt. And he's the most dangerous matchup for everyone. They're trying to build Vili, who's an amazing human being, trying to build him to bigger and better things, which he deserves to be, moving on to international promotions and stuff like that, like we discussed last time. But they don't want him to fight Nate because Nate will finish him. So like you're really trying to get this guy out of here because Nate is the biggest problem for everyone in that division.
So, question: how does he finish this fight? I asked that question because God knows in Glover, the general. If we look at his record, if we look at who he's lost to, in Tando Zondi, that decision was, I wouldn't say it was close, but he showed levels we hadn't seen from him before. He actually took Intando to a decision and he put him through his paces, which we didn't expect. But if you look at who else he's lost to, say that again.
He exposed Zondi.
Exactly. And you could even say that it could have gone the other way depending on where you were standing. Okay, maybe not, but it was close.
But yes, definitely, like, God knows, definitely put up a fight in that fight. He did.
If you look at who he's lost to, with the exception of Intando Zondi, he's lost to Salahuddin Plaikis. Okay, sure, that one RNC, so he's worked on his ground game, but he's also lost to the former flyweight champion, Edson Machavani, and Terence Balello. Those are the only other two names he's lost to. So if we look at what he's bringing to the table, he's bringing quite a bit of experience. How does Nate win this fight? And is he ready for someone that's now as experienced as God knows? I mean, that's 9 fights in right now. He is with 5-4.
Yeah. So I believe Nate can finish him wherever the fight goes. Okay. How I see the fight going is Nate's probably going to rock him in the stand-up, put him on his back, and finish him. Whether it's a rear naked choke, whether it's an armbar, it doesn't really matter. It will be a sub on the night, probably, more than likely. But don't be surprised if Nate kicks him in the head and puts him out. Like, either way, Nate's well-rounded enough to finish him everywhere. He could drop him. He could put him against the fence and finish him TKO. That could be an option. However, I do know God knows is tough. He's a tough fighter. He doesn't get just get put away, especially in the striking. I think he's tough. He's a tough guy. So these type of guys, you got to put them on their back and choke them out. It's just what you have to do, brother.
Fair. Let's look at the fight between Rovan de Beer and Feral Spunky Godfrey Nkwaнаzi. Honestly, this is the most conflicted fight for me on the card because I love both fighters. Feral Spunky, he's a madman. A guy is insane in the hex when he's fighting. When he's not in the hex, he's the most chilled out dude you will ever meet. He's so chill. It's crazy. And Rovan,
have you ever seen him without his glasses on? His shades.
Yes.
Every time I see him, he's wearing shades.
He usually has the shades on. I've seen him once or twice. He wears glasses, so I think hence the shades. But he's the most chilled out dude. And then we've got Rovan de Beer, thoroughly experienced, another fighter that I absolutely love. We always have good chats whenever I meet him at the PI or at the World Sport Betting Arena. He won his last fight, like you said, against Rian Dan with a very nasty, very quick heel hook. In his opinion, he's finding his second wind in his career, and he's ready to possibly challenge, and that's what he wants. But coming up against a young, hungry Feral Spunky. And shout out to Fricky Elof in the chats, heavyweight fighter, who definitely has his eye on this heavyweight title fight between Triple H Power and the Bomber. But that fight for me is conflicting because we've seen Feral Spunky get submitted by Intando Zondi, rear naked choke. So hopefully he's worked on his ground game. He's from Godfather MMA, trains with Billy, Oosthuizen, who has quite a few RNCs or quite a few submissions in his bag, so the skills are there. We've got Rovan de Beer fighting out of Poch. He's got submission game. He's got ground game. The time I noticed Rovan, and I guess I'd say we started to have engagements, was when he had his title fight against Nick Quende, and he went into the fight with a poppable shoulder, and I called him TJ Dillashaw for the first year because that's what TJ Dillashaw did against Aljamain Sterling. But how are you feeling about this fight? Very experienced, second win in his career, Rovan de Beer versus feral spunky, hungry, skilled fighter. How are you feeling about this fight?
Look, for me, it really depends on what Rovan shows up on the night. Like, I've seen Rovan go through wars. I've seen him also shy away from a war. So, like, it really depends on which Rovan steps in on the night. I don't believe that Godfrey has jiu-jitsu anywhere close to Rovan. Like, that's not something you can just learn overnight. There's no secrets in jiu-jitsu. It's just mat time. The more time you spend on the mat, the better you get. So I don't think Godfrey's played enough catch-up in the jiu-jitsu to be better than Rovan there. Could he have learned enough defenses to nullify the attacks? Possibly, because this is MMA. Every time you get hit in the face, you go down in belt color. Like, it's just how that works. So it depends on what Rovan rocks up on the day, but it also depends on what Godfrey rocks up on the day. Does Godfrey go out and really put it on Rovan? If he hits him hard enough to put him away, it's a possibility. But he mustn't get caught in that fight of he knocks him down and he rushes into his guard. Because if he rushes into his guard, he's going to get caught with something.
Fair enough. And I think, like you said, Godfrey is a boxer by original training. That's what he is trained as. In terms of his losses, he's lost to Spusiso Sovendle in his first fight. Then he beat Charles Lamte out of Ghana. Shout out Ghana. Then he lost to Ntanazundi Ajizola, who had just won the EFC Contender Series. And then he came back to beat Warren Richards, pink hair if I'm not mistaken, and then went to fight at Impact Championship. So not even in the EFC, where he got the win. So he's coming off 2 wins and also off a little bit of confidence because now he hasn't just won here in the EFC, but he's managed to travel out. When you travel out, it is a lot more hostile
100%.
than when you're at home. But like you said, what happens when they engage? Does he manage to stuff a takedown? Because Rovan's going to want to take it most likely to the ground versus, excuse me, versus keeping it standing where Godfrey has the advantage. So very interesting to see which Godfrey will show up, and in the same night, which Rovan will show up. I'm looking forward to that fight.
Roll on this guy, turn, hit him, take his back, hit him. Rovan gives up his neck, rear naked choke. Like, these are things that can happen. It all depends on which version of each fighter rocks up on the nights. And I guess that's how it is in all fights. But I mean, like, when someone's really hot and cold, this is the question you got to ask.
Hot and cold. That's exactly how I feel about Brad Tavares. I'm not sure if you watched the UFC this past weekend. We all picked Brad Tavares in our competition, and I said it when I was picking him. I said, listen, I see that Brad should win this fight on paper, but he blows hot and cold, and you just don't know which Brad Tavares is going to show up. And he got beaten. They beat the heck out of him before right now, one of the most famous quotes in MMA. Give up on yourself. Try and give up on yourself. But moving on, first fight actually on the main card, we have Rush Hour Lihle Ngamtwini versus Tabatso Molele in the flyweight division. How are you feeling about that fight? Lihle has obviously been on a tear, fighting out of PEFSA. Rush Hour literally is my favorite moniker for any fighter right now, because every time I see traffic during rush hour, I just say Lihle Ngamtwini. So his name is in my mouth all the time. How are you feeling about this fight?
Dude, I think it's a cracking fight. Look, I think like 20 minutes before this podcast went on and checked Tabatso's record, man. Like I think he's on a 4 fight or 3 fight win streak, so that's really cool. So I mean, it could be a tough fight, but I really do believe that Rush is going to get it done. I think he's just he's also levels above. I think if we're looking top 5 in the flyweight division right now in EFC, obviously we don't know where some of these international guys or these guys who have gone international are, what's happening with them. But like top 5 in the EFC, not including the champ right now, is Nate, Terrence, Zondi, Rush, and right there on the edge as well is Caesar. They're all in like this limbo mode in this flyweight division, but I really think Rush can get the job done on the night, and I think he's probably gonna finish it in the standing, man. He hits people and puts them out.
Especially for that weight class. It's not an easy weight class to hit people and knock them down, but he does that with a fair amount of ease. And like you said, we've got a 4 fight win streak versus a 3 fight win streak. It's going to be a war. I'm backing Rush Hour. I think he finds a way to do it. If we look at the rankings, he is currently ranked number 7 in the flyweight division. Sorry, of flyweights in South Africa, whereas Molela is ranked number 11. So it is what we could call somewhat of a top flight flyweight bout between these two. But yeah, I think he gets it done probably on the ground. I think Molela is a very tough prospect standing. Not too sure about his ground game. Haven't really seen what he can do on the ground, but he fights out of Mamelodi Warriors, which we know is a primarily kickboxing gym. So their ground game, no, not so. We've seen their ground game. If we look at the Majubas, it practically doesn't exist. So for that reason, I'm definitely taking Rush Hour. He hasn't. Shout out Kraken. He does have a armbar submission in his record that's in Gamatwini. So he knows how to submit. And I think that's going to be the difference between these two in the fight, is that they're going to beat each other, and then eventually he's probably going to get to the ground, and then Rush Hour is going to squeeze out some kind of submission.
The reach is going to be an issue, because I think, if I remember correctly, I think Molela is a bit of a taller fighter, a longer fighter, where Rush is nice, small, compact. He's a flyweight. Like Rush is built like a flyweight. Nice. So I think he's going to have to close that distance and put his hands on Molela. I think that's going to be what's going to get the job done for him.
In terms of the height differential, yes, it's 5'9" versus 5'5", so there is a 4-inch height difference between the two, with Molela being the taller fighter. There's no record on the reach, so I'm not too sure how the reach translates, although we do know we have those gorilla-armed bros who just like, they might be short or whatever height, but their arms just keep going and going. I'm not sure. Like, exactly.
Yeah.
With the wingspan, as they say in basketball. So we'll see how that translates into the fight. But yeah, I'm gonna go with Lihleng Gamatwini in terms of this one. Yeah, definitely. With that said, let us look at the betting odds for EFC 127. Betting odds brought to us by World Sport Betting as of today, Tuesday, the 9th of September. The odds do change as we get close to the fights, but let's show you what World Sport Betting is giving you in terms of odds and where you can possibly make some money. With that said, also look out for our underdogs parlay competition. In this competition, every one competition, there are 7 of us. You have to pick 3 underdogs. Your winning score on the night is a product of the odds of the underdogs that win, and the participant with the highest odds on the night wins on the night. Now, I'm not going to show the table this week. I'll show it next week when we get to it. Mostly because Kraken isn't here. It's nice to rub it in him and all his faces.
By the way, Kraken said we must tell Luke that you didn't fire him. He just couldn't make it tonight.
Shout out Luke, young gun. Michaels, Luke. So Achi's not here, not because he's fired. He will be back, but he just couldn't make it. And I can't wait until you guys spar, because that's going to be a heck of a beating. But he is training right now. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing you guys go at it. And as I always say, I will accept no young gun disrespect on this show, because without young gun, there is no show. But thank you for that, Brendan. Let's get into the odds. I'll officiate for free. A sparring session, don't need an official, but okay. Try and save Akhi where necessary. Having a look at the odds, all the odds on the left are the favorites. All the odds on the right are the underdogs, with the exception of the Dabir versus Mkwanazi fight, which are dead even odds. So I am not the only one conflicted about who will win that fight. So are the odds. And just one fight here that I need to point out that wasn't discussed by us is the fight between Glody Kanzego and
Wild.
Christopher Savage
Wild.
Matukane. Yep.
Wild.
Late addition to the card.
That's gonna be two tornadoes going at each other.
Let's talk about that fight before we go into the odds. We haven't seen Glody fight in a while, and we had a chat with him. You can check it out, anyone watching, on our Instagram page. We do have our chat with Glody Kanzeko, where essentially he's had 3 fights canceled. No one has really wanted to fight him, and he's now finally got his opportunity to fight. And it's against Christopher Savage Matukane, who has taken a fair number of nasty knockouts and nasty losses. I think that was a featherweight. Let's see what it says. Catchweight. 183. Can't be featherweight. Matukane is a middleweight fighter. 183 pounds.
180.
Yeah. So someone didn't make weight.
Tomorrow's weights. Well, tomorrow's weigh-ins, but sure, 183. That's big, man. Like, if I might be wrong, but doesn't Cody fight in the lightweight division?
Yes, he would be the smaller fighter. He fights
lightweight, which
shut out, Leroy.
Like, if he's fighting lightweights, that's 155. Moving up to 183, that's a big jump, man.
It is a big jump, but Glody is a big guy. Maybe he's decided to not cut the weight.
I would understand welterweight
fight at that weight class,
but a lightweight fighter moving that high, how much were you cutting to make lightweights?
He couldn't have been cutting that, because you're quite right, because one of his last fights was against
I think it was welterweight.
Tapua Katikati, definitely lightweight.
Lightweight.
No. Yeah.
155.
Yeah, you're quite right. Actually, let me just check this out.
Because
that's a very interesting point.
What is middleweight? What middleweight is? 185, isn't it? Yeah, so
185.
It's only 3 pounds under middleweight.
I'm just checking to make sure. Yeah, 183 pounds. Yeah. So Matukane is cutting just below middleweight, and just below middleweight, and Glody is going all the way up. Okay, well, let's talk about it. Let's see. So there's no odds in this fight. It is a catchweight fight, insane. Right? How do you see that fight going with this? Because I didn't think about that at all, but you're 100% right. It's a lightweight going up to basically middleweight or sub-middleweight.
Massive. That's massive. Unless they're trying to get Matukane cutting down to welter, which could be probably the case. But, dude, I don't know. If the weight cut for Matukane is crazy, you could gas, because he does have those massive muscles, and those require a lot of oxygen. But in saying that, he's definitely going to have the power over Glody if he's trying to go up. Like, it's one of those fights that don't make sense in terms of, like, that's like putting Terrence Bourne against Yaku Duplessis. Like, it's just that does not make sense, guys. Why are we doing this? Like, it's a massive difference in weight. So this, like,
with that said,
what a crazy.
To see Glody going up, I think he's gone up because he couldn't get a fight, and that's what he was very adamant about, is that he could not get a fight. They kept getting canceled, and I don't know why Savage is taking this fight, because, like I said, he's coming off a fair number of losses, a fair number of KOs as well, which we would want him to rest a little bit longer.
I would say it's a safer fight for Christopher coming down than it is for Glody going up. Safer, whether that will translate into the hex, I don't know. But it's more of a risk for Claudio going up than it is for for Christopher coming down.
So let's start with predictions on this fight. Who do you have winning that fight? Who do you think is going to win that fight?
It's a pick on that one. With the all the factors surrounding this fight, it's a tough one. I think if because Christopher's coming out of Apex South, so they should have.
Yes.
They've got Tiny as a coach. So Tiny is like he's a smart coach. He will understand that jiu-jitsu is a part of the game. If that's the case, and he's just the bigger guy and goes and wrestles him for 3 rounds, it could end up in that way, I believe. But Claudia and his wild knockouts, yeah. I'm gonna say if it goes past the first round, Christopher by decision.
Interesting. I think for me, Glody has the advantage as much as he's going up to a weight class that's really not his. We know what he brings. He brings heavy strikes. He's got the overhand right that when it connects, when it hits hard. He's got this very big upper body as well. So maybe like the lack of weight is maybe beneath. I've never really seen Christopher wrestle. He is a stand-up fighter. Glody's also more of a stand-up fighter. And for me, because they're standing, that's where Glody then has the advantage. Because if he swings and connects, Christopher's chin has been touched a little bit too often recently with him being taken down, knocked out. If he gets touched, he gets knocked out. So that's
what
what
if it
gives
passes the first
me
round,
the feeling that
then
Glody.
maybe hola.
Shout out Fight Week Show.
Oh, bro,
Hola, what's
I've
happening,
I've
bro?
had one of the craziest days today. But I thought, you know what? I gotta show my face on the head kick pod, man, and come and kick it with Brendan and Yao. I know I'm a little bit late to the discussion, but I'm still
You know what
here. I'm
happened?
still
You know what
here.
happened? I mentioned Terrence, and he popped up in his Black Panther.
Oh, you know what? That wasn't even
Yep.
planned. You know, that wasn't even planned. I didn't even know you were talking about that.
He
But
was
here,
listening.
here you go. We here to talk about Terrence, and everything about Terrence makes sense, bro. You know what I mean, I don't care who is fighting. Yako, Dricos, you name it. It makes sense. You get me? Now, big up to everybody in the chat as well, man. Salute to
Yeah, good.
everyone, man. My man talking about fucking, hey, big up Leroy. No, fuck you, man. This ain't Leroy.
Hey, bro. Hey, I don't tell you, you're both Fight Week Show. You guys are the Fight Week Show.
Come on, yeah, man. One for all for one, bro.
But, okay, so let me just put this up real quick, Ola. Let's hear from you quickly. So this is the card that we have for EFC 127. Firstly, which fights for you stand out here? We've talked about the heavyweight title fight between Moyo and Chikasa, which is just going to be an absolute slugfest. There's a bunch of other interesting fights, and we're also now looking at which odds we find interesting. So talk to us. Which fights are you looking forward to here, and what odds stand out to you?
Just off the back, I can't help but see what my boy Brendan put in the chat earlier on, and I think everybody's gonna lock onto that, Brendan. You know, I'm trying to say you did everybody a solid by putting that out there, and for Triple H, Jikasa to be underdog on wall spot betting is crazy to me. That's great. That's local. You know what I mean? They're your local. And I want some of that crazy shit that they fucking feeding them over there, man. Give me some of that crazy odds, man, that they put on Triple H Chikasa, man. You know what I mean? I want some of that. But put that frame back up again. Let me let me have another quick look. I'm looking at you know what? This is wild. Why do they always do this? You can't. You know what? Maybe Gumane. Gumane is a live odd. I mean, it's a live dog. You gotta look at that odds 1.8 to 2.5. That's live. That's a live dog right there, man. So Those would be the two that I'm really looking at. But what we're doing about the De Beer versus Kwanzi?
So that De Beer versus Nkwaнаzi fight, for me, I was equally as conflicted as to who's going to win, because if it goes to the ground too quickly, we've got Ruvan De Beer, who's probably going to lock up some sort of submission. If it stays standing, we have Nkwaнаzi, who's a boxer, who we know that guy is wild. So I'm not surprised the odds are split right down the middle, because I honestly don't know who's going to win that fight. And it literally depends how quickly he gets to the ground, or how quickly Godfrey can get a shot in, and then that person wins that fight. So that's very interesting. Where it comes to the odds, Brendan, which odds for you stand out?
Obviously, the Triple H one that makes no sense to me. That's insane. The rest of the odds, Ita versus Sondi, I think that should be a little bit closer, in my opinion. I think it should look a bit more like that first fight of the night, man. I think it's a little bit closer than everyone says. I do think Sita has the better chance of getting it done, but I do think it should be definitely a bit closer. The rest of the odds kind of look good to me, man. I don't see the underdogs. This is one of those cards where the underdogs shouldn't actually get it done, to be honest, besides Triple H.
So Brendan, you're saying
underdogs do magic.
That Yao has set us up to fail.
Yeah, usual.
Right, it's not my fault that I'm ahead of the competition. And you know what? I wasn't gonna pull up the score sheet for this one. I even told Brendan. But now that you're here,
hey, did I just shoot myself in the foot?
I think you just a little bit.
I don't pissed off Yao, man. Oh shit.
But look, you're quite right. You know, this is one of those cards where we can't see how any of these underdogs are gonna win. But the EFC underdogs always seem to pull something out of the fire somehow. I don't know how they do it, but the most unlikely guy always seems to come through with some kind of win. And I guess the question is, other than Triple H, who? Because all these fighters are going up against fighters that they just shouldn't win against. But I think it might actually be the Tabata Mulele fight. I think we talked about this one, Brendan. Mulele versus Ngamatwini. I think that is the probably livest dog on this card. In Mulele, the height might play in where he might use his reach, keeping Ngamatwini just at distance, and then point fight him out of the fight. It's a high possibility. So I think Mulele is definitely a live dog. Inglovu, I know Kumana's your boy, but
get out of here.
But
I'm firing you.
No, listen, Brendan, we talked about this.
I'm getting my little mail. Hey, Brendan said, "Get out of here, man." You know what I mean?
There's no way God knows me mates. It's not gonna happen, brother. That's
yeah, but the thing is,
get out of here.
Okay, but that was because Peace was the underdog. And actually, you know, what's crazy is since that fight, World Sport Betting has not put those ridiculous odds of 4.7, 5 point. They managed to somehow get their head together and start to use like real odds since that Peace fight, which is interesting because now they don't want to give us our money, which isn't fair at all. But okay, cool. But God knows is a live dog. Reason being his experience. He's 5-4, but if you look at who he's lost to, with the exception of Salahuddin Plaikis, he had a very close decision fight against Ntando Zondi, and then only lost to two champions in Machavani and Terrence the Black Panther Ola. Those are the only guys he's lost to. So for me, that's what makes him a live dog.
This is what you said about Spusiso and Moses before they fought Gift.
It's true.
Like, God, what are we doing?
And I would like to remind everybody that only me and Brendan picked Peace in that fight. No,
I
bro,
picked Peace.
You didn't pick him on the show. You picked him
I picked Peace
off the show. Yeah, you picked him on the fucking list. You didn't pick him on the show, bro. You know what I mean? Me and Brendan picked him on the show.
Fair.
Yeah, right.
Fair. Fair enough. Look, look, I'm just saying, with how EFC goes, there's always at least two underdogs that manage to somehow do something. Although maybe let's ask this question: why is Triple H the underdog in that case? If we know what we know so well, why did the odds seem to make it fit for him to be the underdog, whereas we have fighters like Drickus that were the champion but was the underdog? Why have they seen fit to make Triple H the underdog?
I think
Is
with
there
Triple
any
H,
reason?
it could be down to activity,
Yeah,
especially
I was gonna go with
in
that
the
too.
EFC.
Activity and the
Yeah,
2-fight losing streak.
Yeah, that's it. That's the only way. But they've miscalculated that, and
Yeah,
I hope Triple H goes out and proves us right, Brendan.
yeah.
When it
You
comes to
like
this
you
fight
should.
here.
Like I said to you, on paper, Triple H should dog walk him, but like obviously it's a heavyweight fight. It takes one punch, brother. It's one
It's a
punch.
MMA, yeah, it's a heavyweight fight. It's an MMA fight. So yeah, man.
Yeah. So let me ask you guys now, and Ola, I'm glad I have you here to stake your name next to the fighters that you think are gonna win. Which three very impossible underdogs card that you are gonna pick? So yes, I'm gonna start with you, Ola. Who do you have as your three underdogs?
Okay, let me see the names so I can pronounce them the best I possibly can, so I don't fuck them up. And pardon the name owners, please forgive me, but I'm going with Triple H Jacasa. That's my number one pick. Uh, then I'm gonna go with Gumane. I'm gonna go with Gumane. That's my second one, and my last one. I'm gonna go with Sunday.
Okay. Okay. So
Because
I'm
we
gonna
can't pick
go.
the
Yeah.
Debia fight anyways, and
No.
Kwanzi fight. We can't pick that one. So we set off for failure with that one. So yeah, it's gonna be Sunday for me.
Okay, I like those. I'm gonna go second because I always go last, which is somewhat unfair, I guess. Next time I will go first. But I'm with you. I'm gonna take Jikasa. That one's an easy one. Because we have to pick underdogs, let me take Mulele, although I don't think he can do it, but I need an underdog. And my last one will be. Ish. If I pick this one, this guy's gonna hate me. But let me go with Mbizani Jr. Mbizani Jr. I don't know. Maybe he can. I don't know what he can do.
You just picked against Pedro.
That's the thing. I love Emerson. Like he's my guy, but
He clearly ain't your guy.
look, we'll
I'm
see what
telling
happens on
Pedro.
the
I'm telling
No,
Pedro.
No, but we'll see what happens on the pick sheets. Okay, this is me picking on the show. It might change. It might change.
Hey,
that one might change.
This is what we were saying. Well, this is what
Yeah,
you
yeah,
just said. That's what you did with
at
peace.
4 o'clock
That's
when
what you
the
did with
prelim
peace,
starts,
man.
it
You know
might
what I
change.
mean?
At 4 o'clock when the prelim starts, that's when he's locking his pick.
No comment. But Brendan, how about you? Who you got?
Can you pull it up for me there, please?
Oopsie. There we go.
Okay, so we know Triple H. It's happening. Triple H Chikasa. That's definitely a solid pick in there. I'm gonna go with Sondi. I think that's a possibility if he catches one of those wild strikes to put him away. And then my third one, I'm go with let's take that first fight of the night. I'm gonna butcher the name Ngumane. I think
Okay.
how you say it. But let's put a little asterisk on there. I want to see what the odds are for Claudie and Christopher.
Okay, yeah, let's hope those odds come out in time. Okay.
Yeah.
I think I might have changed my mind. You guys have convinced me. I might just switch from Mbizani Jr. to Sondi, but we'll see.
Stay over
Mostly
there,
because
bro.
of Sondi's odds.
Stay over there, man. Stay the fuck
hey.
over there, bro. Stay over
Bruv,
there.
you are not cross. You cannot tell me to keep the same energy.
Bro, stay over there, bro.
Hey, as long as you're not taking God knows, I'm cool with it.
You know, because I think, I don't know, but God knows, I just don't see him. I see Nate submitting him with an arm bar or an RNC deep into the first. Like, that's how I see that fight going. I just don't see how. But he's so strong. He is such a strong dude that now you're almost convincing me, Brendan.
Yeah, that's
Your
good.
statement is
To not do it, you better do it. Like, there's no way
That's good.
I was gonna make it
Stay away from
through the
Sunday.
fight. If you want easy money, put money on Triple H by finish and Nate by finish. That's easy money for you right there, my friend.
Right.
okay. Easy money, easy money. You heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen. Those are
World
the
sport
underdogs
betting.
that you need to look at. World sport betting.
Bet the house.
Give us better odds, world sport betting. We want to see those 4s and 6s again because we want that money. You guys have stopped being so kind to us with those odds. Now we have to string together a parlay to make anything off these fights. Cool.
Look at y'all. Y'all wants to play with house money, man. World sport betting is like, no, fuck off. You know what I mean? Y'all wants to play with house money.
Don't we all? Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining me. Ola, thank you so much for making it to the show. I'm looking forward to this event, EFC 127. Brennan, obviously, I'm going to see you there. Ola, will you be watching?
Yeah, I'm gonna be watching from work. As you know, my work situation is being a dire situation, so it's gonna be tough for me to even get to watch because of the environment that I'm gonna be in. I can't talk much about it, but Yao knows exactly what I'm talking about. But you know, this week and all of this weekend is big sporting weekend for us. And before we get out of here, I wanted to get Brendan's thoughts and Yao's thought. Oh, where did Brendan go?
It wasn't me, I promise. I don't know. He'll probably be back.
No, getting back here, but I wanted to get your thoughts on Canelo versus Crawford and how you think the fight's gonna pan out.
You know, this
Thank you
Canelo
for
versus
coming back,
Crawford
Brendan,
fight.
because I wanted your thoughts on this as well, man.
What
Canelo
happened? What
Crawford,
happened?
man. Canelo
Yeah,
Crawford.
let's get you first.
Ah, man, I think it's a great matchup. Like, what a fight! I think it's gonna be insane. Look, I'm not a big avid boxing watcher. Like, I obviously I hear from Nate.
I'm
and hear
casual
that
like you. Don't worry.
who are
You know
who
you're
are
wrong.
more like into it. But I'm gonna have to go with Crawford, man. I think Crawford gets it done.
Hmm.
Yeah, how you
So
feeling about that fight?
there aren't many people who are saying Canelo. Everyone I'm hearing is saying Crawford. Everyone, for whatever it is they know, whatever their level of interest or experience or whatever it is saying Crawford. I'm also casual, but there's something about Canelo Alvarez that just makes me think he's gonna win this fight because it's a boxing matchup. And boxing, especially at this weight class, goes to judges. And if it goes to the judges, I see them being in favor of Canelo for whatever reasons. Um, that's really what's swaying my mind towards Canelo is him winning by decision, shock decision. It was like, oh my gosh, how did he win that? The judges don't know what they're doing. Like that's what I'm expecting, but I'm expecting a Canelo Alvarez win in this fight.
You don't think Crawford can put him out?
No,
Okay.
no, his
Here-
head
here-
movement
here-
is
Just
just
asking.
too sweet.
Just asking for a friend.
Yeah, here,
Let's
here's
call it Fred.
I've been back and forth. I'm still gonna be back and forth come Saturday. I've been back and forth on this fight so much. But for me, the one thing I keep coming back to is Crawford got to come up 2 weight classes to see the big dog that's been running that said weight class. He's got to come
Yep.
up 2 weight classes. Now, Crawford's fast. I've seen some of his fight. He's rapid, he's fast, but can that speed translate when you put them
At that
pounds
weight
on
class.
to
Yep.
come and see somebody like Canelo? Now, the problem with Canelo is this: you allow him to download. He's like Peter Yan, but even on greater scale. This brother downloads and then you can't beat him because he already knows all your shit. And this is the problem that I think Crawford's gonna encounter when he faces somebody like a Canelo. And Canelo is so elusive. He's so elusive. You know what I mean? And
Can I tell you
to
who
hit
wins
that
this fight?
brother, it is but Crawford's fast. He got fast hand. The way he treated Errol Spence is making me think back because Errol Spence is bigger than he is. You know what I mean? And the way he wiped the floor with Errol Spence, bro, wiped the floor with him. And I'm thinking to myself, the only path that I see Crawford catching Canelo, I think it happens during the download, and Canelo just can't get back. That's how I kind of see it happening during the download when that Canelo is having that first round, second round sort of download to try and figure out what Crawford's gonna do. If Crawford catches him, I think that might be where the damage is done. But on the whole, I think Canelo gets it done. Decision as well. I don't think nobody knocks each other out. I think Canelo gets it done on decision.
Do you know who
Just
wins
so
this fight?
elusive, man.
Who? Yeah,
Fans. The fans win
Yeah,
this fight.
100%.
they did this one for the fans.
But I'll also say, you know who the losers are? The fans. Because
bookies.
if this was MMA, not the bookies, if this was MMA, they would have seen this fight 3 times over. Maybe would have seen a trilogy to this fight. Maybe would have seen this fight 4 times over. You know, why are we only just seeing this fight right now? Thank God for the Saudis. Thank God for the Saudis. If it weren't for the Saudis, we don't see this fight.
The Saudis are ruining football, but they're killing boxing, man, and making it happen.
They're making it happen, bro. Thank God for the Saudis, man. So
yeah, interesting
man.
On that one, Ola. The odds have Canelo as the favorite. They have him as a minus 160 favorite, depending on where you go, and they have Crawford as the plus 145 or 135, depending.
Yeah,
on where you
I'm not
Underdog.
surprised. I'm not surprised. I mean, it's Canelo's so good at what he fucking does, man. It's fucking crazy. You know what I mean? And I know he's lost before, and Crawford ain't lost before. And that's one of the other things that I'm looking at. Like, bro, you're gonna go and give your O to Canelo, man. Like, come on.
Give your O to Canelo to round off the surname. Otherwise, he's just Canel.
like, dude, is there someone better to give it to? Let's be honest.
Yeah. I think Crawford probably thought that as well. Like, if I'm gonna give it to somebody, this guy is worthy of it. This guy will be worthy of it. So yeah, it's interesting fight, man. I'm looking forward to it.
I just hope that they don't start calling Crawford washed if he loses this fight, because you know how in boxing you lose one fight and they call you washed for no reason at all. But I hope that doesn't happen in this instance. But I'm all in Canelo on this fight. Speaking of which, we have UFC Noche up this weekend. I think let's have a quick chat about that. Which fights are you looking forward to, Ola? Do you know which fights on the card? Brendan?
No, let me just pull up the card real quick. I got Topology on hand.
Well, let's go with the main fight. The fight between
Diego Lopez and Jean Silva.
How you guys feeling about that fight?
Diego.
Hey, I don't know, man. There's something going on that fucking fighting nerds, man. You know what I mean? I don't know, bro. I don't know what's good on that fighting nerds.
0-2 from the last card.
I don't know. Hey,
that's where I think the fire's under their ass.
You missing out the practice loss? Come on, dog. Don't miss out the practice.
The last card. I'm just
forget the last fight. That's semantics. Let's talk about the overall thing, dog. You know what I mean? Let's talk about the overall thing.
No, dude, like, I love Pratis. I think he's an amazing athlete. I think that his character, smoking a cigarette at the presser, I'm like, dude, you're good, man. I think, and his striking is insane. But yeah, if that last card, Baralio and Rupi.
Yeah, I'm looking at some of the fights on here.
Look, there's only one other fight.
Yeah, go on.
Yeah. Only one other fight I'm looking at is the co-main between Rob Font and David Martinez.
That don't even interest me. The other fight that interests me is the women's fight. Tatiana Suarez, Amanda Lemos.
Oh, what a fight.
That's a good fight.
What a fight. Speaking of, where's the female fights in EFC, man?
You have to go to AKO right now to watch female fights. They're not having female fights in EFC. I don't know where all the women have gone, but AKO is the only one putting on MMA professional women's fights, high-level professional women's fights. We just don't see them in the EFC right now. I'm not sure where the women have gone. Like Dana, I know she got married. She hasn't fought in a while. GI Jess, she's practically retired at this point. Alice Ardeline, she's gone to,
Guys,
I don't know, they just all dissipated.
How do we not have a fight for the EMF World Amateur Champion from South Africa? How do we not have a fight for her? Come on, guys.
They should be
Wait,
booking
is she
something.
pro now? Is she pro? Did
Yes,
Kiara go
sir.
pro?
Yes, sir.
When did she go pro?
She got her license a couple months ago. Come on, guys.
Yeah.
Give her a fight. Bring us a fight for the amateur world champion. How can you not sell that fight?
Multiple.
I'm with you, Brandon.
Multiple. She's not. She doesn't just have one IMF championship. I think she's got like 3 or something, 2 or 3.
Definitely with Brandon.
Savage. Absolute savage. She's gonna watch her man put a beating on Gonzalez, and then come on, guys, give us a fight for her.
Who would she fight though? She's not strawweight. She's bantamweight.
They can't get fighters from overseas, man. They just have to pay. They just have to pay for their transport, bro. You know what I mean? Like that's what EFC. That's all EFC has to do. Like these fighters want to come and fight for the promotion. Pay my transport and I'll come. That's what the fighters that I know from over this side are saying. Like, I want to go fight under that promotion, but they won't even pay for us to turn up there.
I would actually say she needs to go fight out in AKO, because if I look at the number of AKO fighters in the past 10 months that have gotten into the UFC, it's literally almost 4 of them versus how many EFC fighters have gotten into the UFC in the past 5 years. Not many. Maybe Cameron, Drickers, it's very few. But the AKO guys, and I think it's the relationship Kamaru has with the UFC, but they are turning fighters over at a very high rate from AKO into the UFC. So I say maybe she goes up there if she's really looking at going
but it would be
not just international. But
dude, it's nice to start in your home country, man. It's nice to start. Give us a fight. Find a featherweight anywhere in the world who wants the smoke. Bring it. Let's make it happen. Even any lightweight.
All they need to do is put the money on the table. They'll come. There's fighters out there.
EFC, put the money on the table. Bring some competition, man.
Money on the table. Let's see if that can happen. But to everyone watching, thank you so much for joining us tonight. I think we will sign off with that. And do join us live at the EFC 127 event this coming Thursday, live from the World Sports Betting Arena. You can watch it on Supersports. Until next time, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe at HeckKickPod. Ola, where can people find you on the socials?
The Fight Week Show. Come link us up there. We're on Twitter, we're on Spotify, we're on YouTube, we're on Instagram. We're doing the damn thing. We've got affiliates that we work with. Hey, yo, shout out, by the way. I see your bantamweight list that Jax just dropped on Making the Walk. Salute to you for that one. That's dope. Dope as hell. Big up.
That's why I wanted to talk about Rob Font, because he managed to sneak his way in there.
Bro,
somehow.
Bro, when this card is done, we're going to revisit that fucking conversation, bro. We're going to revisit it, you know what I mean? But yeah, shout out. You did a fantastic work on that, man. And, yeah, come check us out on UFC, on the Fight Week Show. We got lots and lots of things going on up there. We bring fighters on there all the time. We just had Energy on there. We had Tom Theocaris from the Ultimate Fighter on there recently. We're looking to bring Okibolaji once the dust is settled from his recent fight and loss in the UFC. He's still gonna come down. He just needs to he just needs to recover from the fucking war that he was in. That first round war was crazy. Shout out to Mason Jones, by the way. What a warrior. I don't know how we survived. I don't know how we survived that first round. It's crazy. But yeah, the Fight Week Show is the place to be, people. Dust up, shake down. We got that rolling up tomorrow. We got the prediction show for Friday, and we got the boxing co-main and main watch along for Canelo. Come link us up on Saturday for that one. And on the side, I go be watching Arsenal and Nottingham Forest. I got that £50 bet with Olin, and I've been on his neck because his manager's just been sacked and his defender's just injured. So yeah, bro, I got a nice weekend coming up. But I'm trying to say, yeah, I've been on his neck. You see me, yo, you know what I mean? And I ain't letting off anytime soon.
You want that 50 pounds just like you want your 1,000 pesos. I got you, bro. Brendan, where can people find you on the socials?
Well, they're down in the corner, brother. They're down in the corner. BJJ Jenkins on Instagram. That's pretty much it right now. We'll explore better things in the future.
And if anyone's looking for great BJJ coaching, you can definitely reach out to Brendan anytime on Instagram. Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining me tonight. And until next time, don't forget to